Greetings, Naked News Guy here. Today I want to start talking about my 11th political position, which is on affordable housing. The single greatest problem facing people in this country that are working poor is not being able to afford a place to live. There are thousands, if not millions of people across the country who actually work, who are living in their cars, living in their vans, living on the street because they happen to be in a place where the wages don't pay enough to rent a place. You know, this used to be a problem that was concentrated in certain large cities. Now it's pretty much spread out everywhere. I live in a city of 250,000 people. I make about $300 to $400 a week working, and yet an apartment here costs about $1,600 a month. On top of the cost, there's also the question of credit scores, deposits, and all these other things. This is the single greatest problem facing people who are working poor, is how to keep a roof over their head so they can go to work. Look, the fact is this: if you are working poor, you're in a worse position than if you don't work at all. That's a reality. We give housing to refugees, we give it to disabled people, and yet we don't provide it for people who are actually working and contributing. That's bullshit. That is complete and utter bullshit. And yes, there needs to be a solution for this. But the problem is that both political parties live off of housing investments. Look, I'm not going to call the Republicans out on this one because they're always been about the rich. They don't lie about it. I'm calling out the Democratic Party on this one because most Democratic politicians are investing in housing. So of course they're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. We need affordable housing in this country. There's no greater problem facing our country. In 1984, the average 40-year-old owned a house. In 2024, less than 30% of 40-year-olds owned a house. That's one of the greatest generational differences. The reason is housing costs a hell of a lot less proportionally for people of the baby boomer generation when they were younger than it does now for people who are, like I said, 40 years old. Usually by 40 years old, a person used to own a home. Not anymore. We want to start fixing problems in this country, then we need to have more affordable housing. Now, I'm going to get into it in some future videos on what specifically needs to be done for this, but having the fact that I only have 3 minutes here, I wanted to bring this subject up. Naked News Guy here. Like and subscribe if you like my content, and if you don't, well, that's fine too.